role model that our boys need is you and me and every other man in the world, every other dad in the world. Conversations are flying around about who role models are, what's wrong with boys today, the TV program Adolescence, Mr. Tate and all the flipping noise that goes on around that. The thing that every man needs to realise is that our kids are looking to us for direction. The biggest problem right now is not online influencers and what kids are looking at on their phone. No doubt those devices and some of the less than awesome people that are out there are having an impact. But the biggest impact is men not showing up in their kids' lives. The role model that they need is the person that created them. The idea that sports players or TV stars or should be role models, that's not necessarily what they signed up for. A lot of high-performing sports people didn't come from great backgrounds themselves. If they want to do that when they get older, then fair dues. But why are we trying to hold them to account at that level when we're not stepping up? Back in the day, it would have been churches or tribe leaders, Papa Smurf, whoever was the figure at the top of the pile. They would have been the influencer. That would have passed down through men within the tribe, the community, the village, the congregation. The responsibilities, the values, the personality traits, the level of integrity, what was expected, what was allowed, what wasn't. All these things have disappeared. It's bizarre that in a world of woke bullshit, kids are less and less willing to be held to account, less and less willing to be part of a community, to contribute. And that isn't all kids. But what the world needs is strong, confident men to show up, so that, I've basically so that our kids don't need to go looking elsewhere for it. What's happening that we're not being that? Ask yourself, what is your blueprint for life? What's the example you're setting them? How are you doing physically, emotionally, mentally? What are your habits and routines? Are you fit? Are you strong? Do you make quality time for them? Are you managing your money? Are you sharing the load at home? Are you active and engaged in your relationship? Do you exude love? Do you offer quality time? Are you clear with your boundaries? Do you let people down all the time? Like, what is the example you're setting? Why aren't more men showing up in the world like this? How are our kids, social media and mobile phones aside, but why aren't we being the blueprint? Now, the magical thing is, the good thing is that there is strong groups of men working hard to be the better version of themselves. Programs and communities, coaches, like myself, like the High Value Man Project, they exist, but it's a tiny number. I often think to myself about how many people are there? How many men are there out there? Where are they, or what are they up to? There are a shitload of people. So how this message is getting out to everybody is a challenge. And yet in the void between men being held to account, men being given a blueprint to step up, our kids are going and looking elsewhere for it. Funny story, I actually recorded this and then the video was, I couldn't save it on the place I recorded it. So I'm doing this all again. That's commitment. Any father knows that their child wants to walk in their footsteps. The ways that a young kid, if the father is present, if I think about my children, if I think about my boy in this scenario, the things that I do still, he will want to copy. You accidentally say shit when your kid's just learning to talk, and the first thing they come out of their mouth is the word shit. You need to realise that's how simple it is. If you're not present in your kid's life because of other forces, if you've been divorced and you're being, you can't see them as much as you want, don't crumble and fall to pieces about it. Get strong. Write a diary, record an ongoing video, put it all in a box, because when that kid decides that they want to come and see you and says to you, well, where were you? What were you doing? Say, I was here. I was here building myself up, building my life up. I tried. Here's what I've been making you for the last 4 or 5 years. I knew you would come one day and I'm ready for you. And that as an example, for men that have been through divorces, men who haven't been through divorce, are you ready? Are you ready to be the man that your kid needs? When my mum died, I was 9 years old. Clearly, I would love my mum to be around even today. But the women who stepped up, who became role models in my life, some of them ever present, some of them present in fleeting moments or chunks of time in my past, but the closest role models to us are the most important. The people we shape and mould our character from are the people that are in our lives every day. It doesn't need to be a sports star, a pop star, a WWE star. I tried to think, as I was running this through my mind this week, about the role models in my life. I couldn't really think of any that came from that world. Like, if anything, being a kid of the 80s and 90s, it was probably Michael Knight and I don't know which member of the A-Team. The people in my life who are my role models are the people in my life. My dad, for all his maverick ways and shortcomings, is an incredible man. My Uncle Rob, my American dad figure, incredible man. The other men, in my family in Chicago, I don't really know, my Uncle Richard, these are strong men, confident men, skilled and decent in their own different ways. But how they operate in their family, for themselves, in their circle of friends, in the way they build businesses or develop their careers, in the way that they're available and laugh and joke or are generous. Generous with money if they've got it, generous with love and time if they don't. These are the values of a high value man. These are the values of men that our boys are looking for. If you don't provide it, they're going to go and look elsewhere. They're going to go online. What? Not because they want it, but because they're not getting it from somewhere and it's available elsewhere. These people post videos on a consistent basis, so they show up. They set an example that our kids want to follow, so they do. You don't need to compete with that. If what you're showing your kid is good and honest and consistent and true, and you're working on yourself, so you're constantly evolving, you're evaluating what you're doing and how you're showing up, speaking to them in a way that they feel considered and heard, and having boundaries but being flexible enough to give them grace to grow and learn from themselves, how you manage your relationships. It isn't difficult. Whether you meant to have a kid or you accidentally have a kid, you had a kid. There is no other task there than to be present and available for them. And by the way, to put other men in your life that they can be mentored and look to as role models doesn't fall solely on your shoulders, but the people you put around you does fall on your shoulders. The influences in your kid's life, you do have a steer on, you do have a say in. And that is what is required in this world. That is what is missing. Men, strong, confident, present, healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally, available, with a clear mission in life, vulnerable, willing to share their emotions, willing to sit and chat, to be real. And anything else that I've missed, right? This to me, in my program, in my work, is the high value man way. It's having clarity about who you are and what you want. It's having the courage to show up as your true self and not walk around with toxic emotions of jealousy, of blame, of fault, of resentment. Having the freedom and courage to speak and create, to be the man you want to be, and then having the bollocks to show up consistently, the commitment to be organised and diligent, to build, looking at the long term, realising that you don't do sit-ups for a couple of days and get a six-pack. You don't build a business by jumping on the phone a couple of times a week and hoping it's going to go okay. You don't manage and master a relationship by dropping a Valentine's card and a half-decent Christmas present twice a year. That's not how it works. And if your life is shit, then that's on you. Do something about it. That's what our kids need. That is the role models that our world needs, let alone our family needs. I could talk about this for flipping ages, and I'm not sure that you're going to listen much longer. I will make a podcast about this. I will push this subject further and wider. But the role models that our children's need start with you. Let's go.
Start your high value man journey today. Comment join and I'll send you the invite.